Hello, I'm based in New Zealand, and like many of you, I expect our laws to apply equally. Whether you are a small business owner, a startup founder, or a CEO of a tech company. On December the 12th, 2025, I received an unsolicited commercial email from a company I have never contacted, never subscribed to, and never given permission to. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a follow-up. It was a cold marketing email. That matters because in New Zealand, sending unsolicited commercial emails is regulated by law. The rules are clear. One message is enough. You don't need to spam thousands of people to cross the line. What concerned me wasn't just the email itself, but what happened next. They used a separate domain name. The absence of an unsubscribe mechanism. Well, I can't know I'm saying that right, but no way could I unsubscribe from this email. And the failure to answer reasonable questions when clarification was requested. This isn't about outrage, it's about accountability. Too often, people assume that if they operate behind a company name, a marketing agency, or a technical workaround, they can somehow above the law. Well, that didn't read right. They are somehow above the law. Well, they're not. If you have ever thought it's just one email, what can I do? The answer is you can actually do something. I'm walking you through exactly what happened and why it matters, and how everyday New Zealanders can push back when a business ignores the rules that applies to everyone else. This is not speculation, and this is not a witch hunt. This is a documented sequence of events laid out calmly, factually, and on the record. And it's a reminder that the law only works when people are willing to use it. I've got myself an email prepared, and hopefully when I click this button, it will work. And it didn't. You can see my chat box and everything. So that's not too bad. But that's not quite what I want. So I'll just fix that up as we speak. And that's it there. So here I am receiving the email letter. And for full transparency, I'm going to read the letter I received. And after receiving quite a lot of spam, I get a good, probably in my line of work, maybe 200 to 400 pieces of correspondence every day. This letter literally is not the type of letter you want to send me. Hello, Danny. As a sole operator, cash flow is everything. How did this person know I was a sole operator? But it's hard to imagine when you're operating without visibility on your tax liability and paying large accounting charges. How does he know I pay large if I do? I don't know. Anyway, Afirmo gives you a real-time view of your finances so you can make smarter decisions with your budget. It also replaces the expensive account combo. Our clients are often surprised at how much they cut their accounting outlay. One consultant reduced their accounting outlay dramatically, just one of them. I can share a short overview on how it works. Would you like to see it? No thanks, Robert. I'm all good to go. Now, how do I unsubscribe from this email I never asked for? Why did I receive this email? This really isn't a good idea to do it. So there's been a lot of correspondence. Well, there hasn't been a lot of correspondence, but there has actually been a lot of requests for privacy. I want to know how this person managed to get my details and why he thought he would take he felt that he had the right to contact me via an unsolicited email. Transparency is not demonstrated by reassurance. It is demonstrated by answering reasonable questions for the record. I have every right to ask Robert how he got my details and what right he thinks he has to send me an unsolicited email. And that's what I've done, and that's what I'm encouraging people to do. Not to get off track, let's read what we've got here. On December the 12th, 2025 at 13 minutes past 8 p.m. So I don't know, does this sound automated to you? What time of day would that be? I don't even know what day of the week it was, but not many accountants I know actually work at 8:13 p.m. I received an unsolicited commercial email from Robert Rolls, who identified himself as founder and chief executive of, I'm not going to say this now, I think Afirmo NZ Limited. I had no prior relationship with Mr. Rolls, Afirmo Limited, or any association entity. I had not requested information. I've not signed up for a free trial. I hadn't subscribed to a mailing list or otherwise consented to being contacted. I don't have a sign on my website that says, please send me all your junk email. The email was promotional nature. He wanted my business. He was trying to save me money. So that gives him the right to do it. I don't know. It's therefore met the definition of commercial electronic message under the Unsolicited Electronic Messages Act of 2007. I think they need to update some of these acts, by the way, because that's a long time ago now. Importantly, the email did not contain an undescribed mechanism. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that word right. Let me get my computer. Mechanism. That's why that makes more sense. That omission matters. Right, so what is the law in New Zealand in regards to sending people emails? Under New Zealand law, a single unsolicited commercial email can be unlawful if it lacks consent, clear sender identification, and a functional unsubscribed facility. Those three things there, this email ticked all those boxes. The law does not require bulk sending. So it's not about bulk sending, it's sending one email. One message is sufficient. What followed was not a misunderstanding resolved through a simple clarification. It was a subsequence. Now, I've got dyslexia, if you don't know that. I'm just going to read that next paragraph, make sure I get it right.
Sequence of inconsistencies, partial explanations, and silence that raised legitimate public interest questions. This article documents those facts.
Yeah, so the silence was deafening. I don't know if you've heard that expression before, but let's break it down, and this is why it gets really clever. And I know exactly what this company is doing, and at the end of this email, you will too. Well, at the end of this video, you will too. The email and the domain name that didn't match. Always look at the sender's email address when receiving any emails before you reply. In this case, the email identified Robert Rolls as the founder and the chief executive of Afirmo NZ Limited. It was not sent through the company's primary domain name, afirmo.com. It came through another domain name. Instead, it was sent through Robert R. winafirmo.com. At the time the email was received, the domain name afirmo.com was only registered on the 30th of September 2025. It was only 91 days old. It was not referenced anywhere on the Afirmo's official website. It did not host a corporate. It did not host a corporate website. So when you took out the first part of the domain name and you put that into your browser, it didn't go to the official website. It went off to another website. When accessed, winafirmo.com redirects to a unrelated third-party website with no visible connection to Afirmo NZ Limited, accounting software or taxes. So that was sort of quite interesting. So let's just do that now, and I'll put that domain name in, then you'll see what I mean. So it just redirects now to some website with an unrelated person. So it's like the domain name, they don't want this domain name to be associated to their website. So that was a red flag in itself. So This is not a minor technical detail. Domain name usage goes directly to the sender's identification. So you need to identify yourself if you're going to send somebody an email, and using an email, a domain name that goes off to a third-party website isn't kosher. Sender identification, traceability, and compliance under the New Zealand anti-spam law. So you can't do that. LinkedIn profile. So I went to the LinkedIn profile and I found Robert Rolls. So here's his LinkedIn profile, and you can see he's the CEO and founder of Afirmo. So he claims he's got 3,700 followers, and you can come down here and you can see different bits of correspondence. But also the most important part is when you click on this, you can actually see his details. And in there, that's where we found his real email address, robert.rolls@afirmo.com. Hopefully I'm saying that Afirmo right, but Afirmo. Now, why is that interesting to me? Well, I've got an eye for detail, and I'm noticing that the first email that we received actually is Robert R. at, not the same format. So it could be somebody impersonating this company, and that's important for you to understand that. So after going to the LinkedIn profile, finding the actual founder and CEO of Afirmo and emailing them, you would think I would get a response. Let's carry on. 2 domain names were therefore in use. An established corporate domain name, Afirmo.com, a newly registered domain name, winafirmo.com, and only one of those domain names is publicly associated with the company. Is that transparency? Discrepancy required clarification. So this is quite technical because I asked it to be explained in a technical sort of way. So I'm going to read the first paragraph at the start. The technical comparison of the use of these 2 main domain names. Why would a company, let's just say who's doing mass emails, not use their real or the actual domain name for their website? There's a reason for this.
A WHOIS and DNS review shows that the domains Afirmo.com and winafirmo.com are registered, hosted, and configured independently of one another. Afirmo.com was registered in 2017 and is associated with the company's long-established public website. By contrast, winafirmo.com was registered on the 30th of September, 2025, and resolves to a different IP address using a separate hosting and DNS configuration.
We'll be right back.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Don't go to sleep on me. That's an elephant. I don't know why, but I like elephants. I think it's because my mum said no one's talking about the elephant in the room. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, and you don't want to or even think about changing the record. I've got some really cool sound effects, and I just had to find a place to use them. I can do explosions. I've even got a gunshot and a boom. Isn't that quite cool? Anyway, I just wanted to wake you up. Wake up, and we'll get into it. And by the way, just grab a drink. I'm going to grab a glass of champagne. Let's carry on. That's good. All right. Grab a coffee if you like one as well. Yeah, so the domain name Afirmo.com has a completely different setup to winafirmo.com.
When accessed, winafirmo.com redirects to an unrelated third-party website with no visible connection to Afirmo NZ Limited, accounting services, or tax software. These technical differences do not, on their own, establish misconduct. However, where an unsolicited commercial email is sent from a newly registered domain that is not referenced on the company's official website, those differences are relevant to questions of sender identification, traceability, and accountability.
Right, so there's some technical data in there that if you're clever enough, you'll pick up where I'm going with this. Attempts to verify identity. Is that identifying? I'm no good at this today.
Verify identity.
And seek the right of reply. So I wanted to hear from Robert Rolls directly. So I have been on a mission since the 12th of December. Before publishing anything, I took reasonable steps to verify the situation directly and to provide Mr. Rolls the right of reply. Over a period of days, I phoned the company using the publicly listed phone number on the website. So if you go to the website here, and you click on something down the bottom. Where is it? You can go contact us. You get these lovely people, pictures, images, and you can come down here and you can book an appointment with somebody if you want. And you come down here further, you can use a general inquiry. And if you go down here enough, you can actually find publicly listed phone numbers and contact addresses. Now, I did get a reply, and I'll just speed up through some of the blog. They told me that they're a New Zealand-based company, and they weren't in any other. They weren't anywhere else. So when I got to the contact us page, and I see that their headquarters is in New Zealand, they've also got offices in the United Kingdom and Australia. It started to not make sense for what they said. So this is why I kept digging deep into this company. And when I rang up the company, I got what seemed like a call center. And the person actually gave me Robert Roll's actual cell phone number so I could ring him. But every time I've rung him, he's never answered. But I have had his answering machine, so I know it's him. And I have left messages, so you get the drift. I've got one email reply, which I'll explain in a few minutes. And after that, I've been ghosted. It's like they want me to go away, and they just want to pretend I don't exist, and they've just ghosted me. However, I had to verify that they didn't have their brand hijacked by somebody else using a random domain name. And I have, my best of my ability, have confirmed that not to be the case. I did receive one written response sent to me, and it came from the domain name winafirmo.com email address, not the actual official, what I believe, website, which could actually, if you want to read between the lines, and I'm only going to give you my opinion, but somebody could be managing all their lead generation emails, and they could literally have total control of that domain name, and they could have theoretically written the response I got back from Robert Rolls. Who knows? I think I know where I'm going with this email, and if you can read between it, then the lines, you are more than welcome. That response stated that Afirmo takes compliance seriously. Well, that's a load of rubbish in my opinion. My details have been removed from their system. Well, I want to know how they got there in the first place. I'll be honest. The email was sent under deemed consent. So this is the only thing that they think they have a right. So they have a right to scrape people's email addresses from people's website because they put them on their websites so people can contact them. And it's called deemed consent because of that. So that was the only thing they're going to hang on to. I have never consented. The New Zealand privacy law, I'm pretty sure, I don't actually know, but I don't think you can just collect or scrape people's email addresses, because that's why we have the anti-scam department set up in New Zealand. But anyway, deemed consent. So it still didn't answer my questions. However, several material questions were not answered. I think that is material.
Several material questions
were not answered, including where my email address was sourced from. It's the question I wanted to know. Whether a third-party lead generation or marketing company was used to do this email. Did he decide to get up in the morning and search the internet for Danny de Heck and find my website and realize that I'm a sole trader, and then think I might just send Danny an email? In fact, if you look at the subject line, which you won't be able to see very well, the subject line was de Heck. Now, my name is small d, E, capital H-E-K. It's got a small d-E, space, capital H-E-K. In the subject line of this email, which you can see up here, he's just put de Heck. But when he's wrote my name, he's put Danny, he's got that right. So what is it? So those patterns are things that I pick up. I feel like that I might be in a database. Anyway, so third party, did they use, the question was, I wanted to know, third-party lead generation or marketing company was used, and I'm pretty good at guessing which one they might be using. Just saying. Why a separate domain name was used for outreach? Why did they use a separate domain name and not use their own domain name? Because that is confusion, and I don't even really know whether I'm communicating with the actual company that I see here, because there's no connection. And why the original email did not include an unsubscribe, what's that word? I'll never get that word right. Mechanism, like a switch. I don't want this email anymore. After that response, communication ceased. There was no follow-up, no clarification, no response to subsequent verification requests. Silence is not evidence of wrongdoing, though. However, it is documented fact when assessing transparency and reasonableness. Industry context, lead generation, and secondary domain names. Now, I wanted to include a paragraph in here that actually explains about lead generation companies because I'm going after them. I don't think I want your email in my inbox. Please respect that and obey the laws is what I would say.
In the course of reporting on electronic spam and unlawful marketing practices, I have repeatedly encountered a common industry pattern that is relevant to this situation. Some companies outsource outbound email campaigns to third-party lead generation firms and deliberately operate those campaigns through newly registered or secondary domains, rather than their primary corporate domain. The stated rationale is often to protect the reputation, deliverability, and search engine health score of the main domain, particularly where cold outreach may generate complaints or regulatory scrutiny.
Now, I might double up here in the conversation here, but any domain name has a spam score. You can actually go to a spam score. How do you spell score? Domain score. All right, so I presume you can come in here, domain monitoring, and I've never done this and I shouldn't do this live, but I can't help myself. And if you go to that domain name where you received the email from and get a demo pricing, oh, that's not going to help me. But there must be a way of seeing the score of your domain name. So let's check the reputation. That's what it's called. Okay, so the reputation of their domain name is 7, all right? I'm going to get myself in trouble. And then if we put win in front of it, we're going to... There's no warnings about that domain name. And that's probably because it's only 3 months old. But just for a laugh, let's try theheck.com. 13. Is that good or bad? Probably bad. Let's see what's examples, various source, domain name, association name, service name, and host. I don't actually know, but that domain name has been going since 2000. And I don't really know what that means. But anyway, hopefully that's good. Wonder if we can try another one. That would be quite good. Wonder who else we could try. Let's try Google. Google. 41. So I don't know if that's good or bad either. But anyway, somebody clever might tell me. But what I'm getting at here is that you don't want to use your domain name and then send out a whole lot of unsolicited spam because it brings down the spam score for your domain name, and that means a lot of your emails will actually finish up inside Google's or Gmail's spam folder, and that's why you've got to avoid it. And that's why a lot of these companies, I'm not saying that's the case with Afirmo, but I am saying that's what happens, and that's why these email marketing companies will recommend getting a throwaway domain name to deliver junk mail to potential customers. When problem arises, technical reputation consequences attached to the secondary domain name rather than the brand. Okay, yep. This practice has been examined in enforcement actions in New Zealand and overseas. In these cases, businesses have been held responsible for unsolicited messages when sent on their behalf. So just because you get yourself a throwaway .com address doesn't mean that the newzealand.co.nz anti-spam laws don't belong to the country that's sending the messages. It's the company that's registered in New Zealand. If they've hired a lead generation company, you can still be in trouble. Contractors or was involved. Okay. I'm going to have to read this paragraph. I'm very dyslexic if you don't know.
The
And I
existence
struggle
of a
sometimes.
secondary domain does not, by itself, establish wrongdoing. It does, however, represent a recognized risk indicator in spam investigations and is something that reasonably warrants clear explanation when questions are raised.
Yeah, the legal context, why it matters. Under the Unsolicited Electronic Messages Act of 2027, business may only send commercial emails if the following requirements are met. Consent exists, express inferred, or deemed. The sender is clearly and so the sender needs to be clearly and adequately identified. So on the bottom of the signature, it did put all his identifying marks, but unfortunately the domain name he was emailing me from failed. A functional unsubscribed facility needs to be included. So just because I'm a bit hopeless today, let's read this again.
Consent exists express, inferred, or deemed. The sender is clearly and accurately identified. A functional unsubscribed facility is included.
Even where deemed consent is claimed, the unsubscribe requirement still applies. In this case, I dispute that my email address was published for unsolicited marketing. So just because I have my email address displayed on my website, and if you haven't been to my website lately, you can go to deheck.com and you'll see that I have along the top here, I have a phone and I have my email. And if you click on my Contact Us button, you can see I don't even know if I do actually have my email address displayed here. I have an online form. So I'm actually even trying to hide my email address so I don't get spammed. And in here, it's not visible. But I do have an email address under here, which I think if you click on that, it will actually take you off to my actual email address. It doesn't actually display, but if I go right click and go copy email address, it is actually displayed invisibly on my website, but not visually. But even if I do have that there, it doesn't mean that people have the right to send me unsolicited messages because I don't have an advert saying, please send me your shit. The message lacks an unsubscribe, I still can't get that word right. Mechanism, and the sender used a domain name not linked publicly to the company. So I had no way of identifying this person. It could be any random Robert Rolls attached to a newly bought domain name. These are not allegations, they are observable facts. So you can't hide between what I've received and what I've got documented here. Referral to the Department of Internal Affairs. Well, that's what I did next. Given the lack of resolution, I submitted a complaint to the Department of Internal Affairs, the agency responsible for New Zealand anti-spam laws. Now, I thought I actually put a link to the Internal Affairs Department, and it must have not taken. Well, maybe I need to refresh this page. 1 second, please. Let's see what happens. Did I actually do that? Yes, I did. Look at that. Good practice, Danny. So you click on that there and it takes you off to the Department of Internal Affairs. And then you can read about how to report spam. So text spam, report fax spam, fax spam. This is really outdated. Report email spam. And when you click on that, it takes you off to another website that's called reportspam.co.nz. So the Internal Affairs that actually set up a whole website dedicated for people to report spam. So you can actually email it. Now they want to get you in what they call I think it's called a EML. You can come along, I'll see if I've got online form, and they ask you to go through here and you basically get the headers of the email. There's a special type of, I think it's called EML file, and you can get that by right-clicking on an email, all depends what program you're using, and then you can submit that as a complaint. But I submit things all day long to different organisations like the FMA in my line of work, and it's just painful. You get nothing back. And then when you do get an email back, it tells you that we can't tell you what the outcome's going to be. So you don't know whether you're making a difference. So that's why I do these sort of name and shame videos and emails. Do I have an update on Smart Labs? Yes, I do, mate. They have now got themselves a new domain name and asking all their customers to redo, what do they ask them to do? Redo their KYC details so they can find them in their system. We actually shut down smartlab.international domain name, and then they've fired up a new one called smartlabinternational.io, I believe. Now, SmartLab, if you don't know what we're talking about, is actually what they call arbitrage sport betting. And it's a scam that I believe is probably worth about $300 million. And it's based in Utah. And it's gone after the Mormons communities, and everyone's mortgaging their house and betting on this arbitrage. And I know that people are making a lot of money out of it because it's a Ponzi scheme and people mortgaging their houses getting involved in it, and they're just using new investor money to pay old investors, and it's absolutely disgusting. But anyway, we've managed to shut down the website and thrown them into mayhem. That's what we do, and my Avengers. Anyway, so we've gone to the Department of Internal Affairs, the agency responsible for enforcing New Zealand anti-spam laws, as I've shown you, and the referral included the original email, the full delivery, there it is there, EML file, a timeline of the correspondence. As of publication, we have not received any confirmation that the enforcement action is underway, and that's real typical. That is not unusual. The department does not comment publicly on active assessments. The referral itself is a matter for record. So I needed a record to show that I've actually reported it. I've heard nothing back, but I've done the right thing. And you can do the right thing as well, but you can also tell me about it, which is also good. Public review and prior concerns. While verifying basic facts, I reviewed publicly available Google reviews relating to Afirmo Limited. Now, this is where I started to see a pattern forming. If you go to Afirmo reviews, you can click in here and you can actually go through. Now, they've got 41 reviews and they've got 4 stars, which isn't too bad, to be honest. But if you're clever enough, you can actually come through here and go the lowest rating. And you can see that people have actually written some pretty damning reviews about this company. And also, remember, I got crickets when trying to contact this company. But when you're in the public arena, you can actually go in here and write reviews about anything you want. These people didn't write short little one-liner reviews. These are marathon reviews where people are disgruntled and not happy. And every single one of these has been firefighted by the company itself. So I am actually curious to why this company didn't bother responding to me. Now, first of all, when I received these emails, I'm thinking, somebody trying to impersonate this company. That's why I went to LinkedIn, found the actually owner of the company, and even got his phone number from his staff, if they are staff or a call center, who knows these days. And then I started to see a pattern forming. Every single one of these reviews is a shocker, and they're large reviews. So if you are going to use this company to save yourself a few dollars, let's just say, in my opinion, you get what you pay for. Also, the other thing that I found quite interesting was their their YouTube channel. So I had a look here. Now they've got 26 subscribers. This company's going by their website, going great guns, but 26 subscribers and 25 videos. Do you realize that means they've got 1 subscriber for each videos? And then what I see is I see videos which are posted a year ago that got 28 views. And then I see another one here 2 years ago that's got 2,800 views. This one, 4,100 views. So they could have used it in their marketing, but you can see here that they've got lots of 24 views. They're not really doing very well when it comes to their YouTube channel and their subscribers. And it just doesn't look right. So then I had a look at this video here.
There are 2 ways to never worry about tax ever again. Move to international waters.
But look at all the money I'm saving.
Or
so this is this when it started up, it actually said this is Robert Rolls here.
start using Afirmo. It's simple and it's for everyone, not just sole traders.
I don't like that music in the background, so I stop that every now and again. Yeah, so I don't know what it is. I personally wouldn't be using it to do my accounts. And also, if the company ghosts me when I ask them questions, what are they going to do to you when you have a problem? Well, you can actually see this because you can actually go back to their Google reviews and read those problems for yourself and make your own decision. Don't be persuaded by my bad experience. While verifying the basics, I reviewed publicly available Google reviews relating to Afirmo NZ Limited. It is important to be clear about the limits of this material. Customer reviews are testimonial, not of evidence or illegal things. They do not establish facts about my case, and they are included only as context, not proof of wrongdoing. The reviews raised recurring themes, including billing disputes, communication breakdowns, software limitations and concerns about third-party, what do they call it? You'll have to read that one.
Integrations.
So a lot of these companies, and I'm not going to make any insinuations, claim that they do everything. In my opinion, and my experience in this game, I'm pretty convinced that most of the taxation stuff that you may be getting is probably coming from other countries. And I don't think you're actually going to be using the services of the New Zealand company that's based in New Zealand here. I would doubt, I don't know anything about this company. I just received an unsolicited email. But looking at their website and knowing what I know about outsourcing, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the services that they actually provide are outsourced to other countries. And if you go through the Google reviews and read them, you'll probably find you've got all rights to read those reviews and come up with your own interpretation rather than being persuaded by what I'm thinking. The reviews raise recurring themes, as I said, billing disputes, and third-party integrations. Some of these claims are disputed by the company in its responses. So they have tried to defend themselves, but let's just say in my case, you don't get flack unless you're over the target. And I think these customers are complaining, trying to firefight it with responses, saying it's not true. Where do these people decide to write reviews like that who haven't had an experience that they're claiming? You wouldn't spend the time. I make no, I'm going to read that paragraph.
I make no determination about their accuracy. They are mentioned solely because they form part of the public record a reasonable reader may encounter.
Yeah, that is it. And what it is not. What it is and what it is not. This article does not claim that Afirmo is a scam. I know I bust large-scale Ponzi schemes and scams. I'm not saying they are a scam. It's quite simple. I'm saying I shouldn't have received an email that I didn't ask for. Robert Rolls has not committed any fraud that I know of. Well, a criminal offence has been proven. I believe a criminal offence has been proven. He didn't let me unsubscribe, and when I told him I didn't want to receive a stupid email, he came back and he told me I've been removed from his database. Then I've gone back and I've asked additional questions about how did I get in the database? Did you use a lead generation company? If so, which one? And why was my details on there? I want to know. It does document that an unsolicited commercial email was sent to me. This is what I'm documenting here. The email lacked an unsubscribe mechanism. Ooh, might have got it right that time. The email was sent from a newly registered domain name, not publicly associated with the company. Clarification was sought, and I didn't get the answers I was wanting or asked. Key questions remained unanswered. That's the full scope. Now, if you are, oh, hello, Queen of Karma, didn't see you there. And Susie, what are you doing up this early? Now, I have actually got the interview room open. And if you are watching me on YouTube, there is actually a chat room. And in the chat room, there is a box at the top, and it says, join Danny DeHeck on stage. Now, even though I've rung you, emailed you, Robert, and I've even sent you a text before I went live recording this, you are probably watching right now. So why don't you click that button and come and talk to me on stage? You just need to click that button and turn your microphone on, and we can have a chat live right now. Instead of ghosting me and not answering my questions, instead of writing me a right of reply in a few days' time, you have every right to come on here and defend why you thought it was a good idea to send Danny DeHeck a unsolicited email. And I would love to ask you firsthand where you got my details from. And if you're doing your own email marketing, if you go down to the picture here, you can see that I've got Robert Rolls in the newsroom, well, not in the mailing room, preparing all his his emails before he sends out stuff. So that's cool. Now I don't want somebody just put a message in the chat room. Best viewers, and I can pay for my subscribers. I'm going to ban that person. There we go. He's gone. My sleep has been all messed up since my crazy weekend before Christmas. Yes, your teeth have been playing naughty, haven't they? So I'm sorry to hear about that. But here he is in the mail room, preparing all his emails, sending out emails to people like me, thinking he has a right to do it. Well, you don't have a right to do it. I don't like spam emails, and I've done everything in my power to actually figure out what's happened. So why the domain name issues cannot be ignored. Now, this is a big thing. He's using a third party, well, he may not be. He's using a third party domain name. I can see you chatting in there, Suze, in the other room. Do those above things? Okay. Don't get distracted by other conversations. We've been busting many scams lately. We've been having my Avengers, which is I have about 10 main Avengers, and I have probably about 50 other people that help me with intel. And I can see the chat room going on at the moment as they're supporting me here as I do another live. It's not related to anything else I've been doing lately, but I just thought I'd do something a bit different. Why the domain name issues cannot be ignored. Using alternative domain names for outbound marketing is sometimes described as a technical or operation decision. However, in regulated environments such as finance, tax, accounting, and KYC adjacent services, domain, I think that means, what's that word mean?
Provenance matters.
Yeah, you can't use a third party over here and then have an identity over here. It directly affects customer trust, data protection, expectations, data protection expectations, accountability, and compliance with electronic messaging laws. If a third party was involved, the company remains responsible for messages sent out on its behalf. So just because you've set up a bogus email address over there and you've got my details and I'm now part of your customer client base, all of a sudden you are responsible for whatever you're doing if you've employed somebody else to do it. That's what I'm trying to say. I have to read this, sorry, I'm not really got my mojo now. I'm out of sequence.
If impersonation is occurring, it is incumbent on the company to state that clearly and publicly. To date, neither explanation has been provided.
Yep, so I asked all the questions, never got any answers because you wanted to ghost me, and this is the result of that. Position on the record. I have acted in good faith through this process. I sought verification directly. I've rung him about 10 or 15 times, provided a clear right of reply, avoided speculation, and referred the matter to the appropriate regulator. I've done everything I can in my power. I haven't received any other emails, don't know why. This article records verifiable facts and unanswered questions, nothing more. If Afirmo NZ Limited or Robert Rolls wish to clarify the record, specifically the use of the use of Afirmo domain name, how they source my email address, and the absence of the unsubscribe mechanism, I would love to know more. I will publish a response in full without editorial alteration. So if you give me a right of reply and you send it to me, I'll put it on here and you can tell everyone why you felt that you did the good thing there. Now, what readers should do, how about you? You get some spam? Well, here's what you could do. If you are a business owner or a professional, treat unsolicited, I'm going to read these.
Treat unsolicited emails, particularly those involving finance or tax, with caution.
Yeah. Well, I still don't really know whether I'm actually talking to Afirmo or some third-party organisation. However, I did ring up Afirmo and got given Robert Rolls' contact details, and I have rung him 15 times. I'm going to ring him in a few minutes, haven't I? And I've done everything I can in my power to actually contact this company that's meant to make your whole life better if you use their services, and I've got no service. Verify the sender's domains before you reply, not just the names or the signatures. Don't look at the text on the paper. Check the domain names. Go and find out who owns the domain name. See how long it's been registered for. What else have we got here?
Expect a functional unsubscribe mechanism as a minimum legal standard.
Yeah, you can use MailChimp to send out your emails if I subscribe to your newsletter, and then MailChimp will have an unsubscribe function. And you can also go into previous newsletters using MailChimp, which is quite a good thing. And I would really recommend that you understand New Zealand law applies to even one email. You don't have to be using bulk email systems. I'm not saying they were, But sending me an email at 8:15 in the evening on whatever day of the week it was, I don't think many accountants in automated accounting firms are actually there doing emails manually. If you believe you received spam, preserve the original email. Now, I accidentally deleted the original email from my email program I have on my computer, and I had to go into Gmail and go through deleted archived emails, and I managed to get it back, which I was quite pleased because then I could grab the headers in full. Report it to the Department of Internal Affairs if you're in New Zealand, or find it in your own country. Transparency is not archived through silence. It is archived through answers. Now, we've got an evidence archive here, Exhibit A, all ready to go to court for this one. I'm sick of it. You click on here, you can see these are what it looks like. So what you're seeing here is the EML header, and this shows you where it was sent from, who it was sent to, and all those numbers can be tracked through if needed to prove that he was the sender of that email. And then I've got a copy of the email, and that's part of my evidence trail. Disclaimer, if you're wondering how I gather my information, well, open source intelligence. I use publicly available records. I went and looked up the company registers, who owns the company, archive web pages, so I can go back to see what they were doing a few years ago using the Wayback Machine. Corporate filings, yes, I like looking at that to see whether they're actually filing returns. Domain name data, social media activity, and open block transactions if we're chasing something that had something to do with crypto. In this case, it wasn't. No private data, hacking or unlawful access. It's not what we're doing here, the Avengers. If you don't know anything about me, I am Danny DeHeck. I've been featured in the New York Times 2-page printed edition a few years ago now. And also I've been in the Guardian newspaper. I've got my own podcast. Most people know me through my YouTube channel. I am actually streaming live now on X and LinkedIn, Twitch, Kick, and also, what else? YouTube, of course. And I think that's about it. I probably missed a few there, but that's what we do. I also have my own podcast. I don't always put everything that I record onto a podcast, but if you are listening to me you can find me on the podcast, and we're on iTunes and all that sort of carry on. You can book my time if you want to talk to me. Maybe you've been affected by a scam or a spam, I need to redo my lines, don't I? I'm Danny DeHeck. What do? I name and shame individuals running large-scale Ponzi schemes and scams, and who sends spams. That's going to be a mouthful. I don't think I'm going to do it. I am available for speaking engagements. I might be actually literally doing some more of that this year is my goal. I want to be booked for speaking engagement. I want to tell you how scams work. Also, here's a portfolio of me being in Bloomberg, news.com.au. They actually said I was I still haven't fixed that spelling up, have I, Queen of Karma? But I am meant to be one of Australia's biggest scam fighters, so they said. Opal, which is India, Press, The Guardian, ABC News, New York Times, as I mentioned. So I've been in a few. Look, I don't want you guys to get scammed, spammed, or, all sorts of things. If you haven't been to my website, you're wondering how I support myself. I was on a phone call today with a guy today, and he thinks that I do this for the money. I said, no, I don't do it for the money. I do need money. People do actually support me with donations, which much appreciated. If you click on support me here, you can actually see that I have a Ko-Fi page, and you can buy me a $5 coffee or a membership. We're currently busting a $500 million scam in America, and it does seem funny asking for $5 to help pay my way when I'm actually saving people from losing millions of dollars. But that's what we do. Spammer above is now banned from Twitch. Oh, good on you, mate. Thanks very much. Somebody was trying to sell me fake views on my Twitch account while we was doing our live stream. We try to ban people from doing so, but when other Microsoft certified trainers very supportive to the channel, he goes after them and bans them from Twitch for reporting such terrible things. What else can I show you guys? Well, let's just put my website back to normal, which resets it back to its normal size. Yesterday, we did a bit of a announcement about a scam that had fallen over. I reported about, I think it was 5 months ago now. And I'm telling people not to cry over spilt milk, but we are getting a lot of intel in at the moment about CR Global. And we wrote a whole blog about how that whole scam has worked and how it's stopped and how everyone's lost their money. We also showed people that there is a support group that we have set up WhatsApp support group. So we are telling people, if you have lost money to CR Global and you want some support and you want to know what's happening, please do subscribe to that. We've also got a Facebook group which is managed by one of my Avengers, and when you click on there, they currently have 106 members, and these are all people that thought this was a real too good to be true opportunity. Please do go through my blogs, do find the links, join these groups and see if you can help people. We've got a lot of video evidence of these people out there in the community telling people they should sign up for these opportunities. Normally, I go into my bookmarks, and if you go into archive here, these are all Zoom meetings where people are promoting multi-level marketing, and they're telling people that if they sign up for the platforms and refer other people into them, they're going to get a commission. So my job's pretty rampant currently. Got about 200 different Zoom links where people are encouraging people to sign up and do fraudulent activity. Look, this was a little bit different, and we're going forever, but I received an unsolicited email, and I decided, you have a Facebook group? No, I don't. One of the Avengers do. I've been banned on Facebook. Facebook don't like me anymore because I used to complain about all the Facebook groups that were set up to promote multi-level marketing. So I started reporting them all quite diligently, and then all those Facebook group owners decided to report me as a scammer, whatever, something not good. And now Facebook have banned me. And then I lost my Instagram account because I go after scammers head to head. Then I lost my TikTok, and then I lost my Reddit account. There's a pattern forming here. That's what happens in my line of work. So my go-to platform is my own website. My own website is protected by Google Project Shield because I am a reporter. I report the truth, and they keep my website alive. I've had denial server attacks where they send millions of bots to my website to bring down my website. Even yesterday morning, I received a copyright strike for some dubious person that was trying to take a video down of mine because they don't want me reporting the truth. My website's protected by Google Project Shield, and my content is reporting the truth. Now, I go to the police, I work with, and I supply information to a lot of government agencies. We have a database of people who are out there promoting these terrible scams to people. So I always say to people, I'm Danny the Heck. I'm here to name and shame anyone running or promoting a Ponzi scheme or a large-scale Ponzi scheme or a scam, and I name and shame these individuals. So if you think it's a good idea to go on here and get your friends and family involved in these Ponzi schemes or scams, or promote them on Zoom meetings, I'm going to come after you. And so is my team of Avengers. That's what we do. I spend 70 to 80 hours a week researching and going after individuals that are trying to recruit people into a scheme so they can get the commission. They think that's how they're going to build their passive income. Look, I'm not against entrepreneurship. You know, this company, Robert Rolls, is probably just a normal guy living in a house, thought he'd try some email marketing. I don't know. I can't speak for him, but I've done everything in my power to contact him. I've asked the questions. I've been ghosted. I haven't got the response. Now, I did this to another individual a few months ago, and they told me, I don't care about you. Then they all of a sudden did care about me, and they've been trying to get this content removed from my website. So I've ticked every box, I've crossed every T, and I've dotted every I with this review to make sure that this content is going to be online for years to come. Because I am a journalist and I report what I believe people who are taking advantage of other people. They're using mass email marketing to build their business. And I don't like it, and it's not lawful from my opinion, so I'm not going to allow it to happen, and that's what this video was all about. That's what we do, as Susie just said in the chat room. Look, I'll see you guys in the next email. This is recorded live, so what I do is after my live, I put a uncut stamp on top of the thumbnail, and then I publish this as a new video. So if you watch me in the live, that's why we've got the chat room here, and we've got the Avengers chatting along the way. I just published an article today too. Did you publish it yourself? Okay, well, let's have a quick look at that. I want to see if that's the case. So Queen of Karma, she is also a publisher on my website, and I've just given her the ability, I think, to publish her own content without my supervision. Bill, let's have a look. Is this the one? I think it is published. So let's have a look. Bill filling root canal crown extraction complaint. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's funny. Look at that. Okay. When destiny becomes dangerous, the rise of dental scams. No way. Oh, I've got Susie, give me the address of the what was the address of that company? I think I have to go find it. We've been busting a scammer at the moment, and he has defrauded people in Florida of up to $500 million. And we're building a story. And one of the scammers, oh, there it is, Ghost White. Is it Ghost White? So I've got to bring this up just for shits and giggles. But I think it's ghostwhite.com. I think it was Ghost White. So yeah, it is. Here it is here. So I think here. So this is quite funny. So if you want to have nice white teeth, where do you go? There it is, Ghost White teeth. So this is Ghost White, and this was set up by Christopher Del Argo, and he was selling those things that you can find on AliExpress and Temu, no doubt. But the thing you put in your, how about this? You stick this in your mouth, you plug it into your phone. And this was one of the companies of Christopher, Ghost Whitening. And you can choose how white you want your teeth, and you can buy it from Christopher Del Argo. Here we go, nice white teeth. But that there, if we go back to your complaint, or not that complaint, where did that go? Robert, get rid of Robert, get rid of him, get rid of that, get rid of that. There we go. Right, so let's have a listen to some of Queen of Karma's blog and see what she's complaining about.
When dentistry becomes dangerous, the rise of dental scams. I never expected that a simple dental visit would leave me in pain, confusion and fear, or that I would spend days fighting to be heard, taken seriously, and treated safely. What happened to me wasn't just a bad appointment, it was a breakdown of trust, consent, and professional responsibility. As I began to process my experience, I discovered something chilling. I am not alone. Across Canada and the US, dental fraud, overtreatment, and unethical practices are surging, and patients are speaking out. I need to share my story and give a broader warning. Dentistry has a growing accountability problem, and consumers deserve to know the truth.
Oh my goodness, I want to do a video about this. Maybe I should do a video about your blog. That would be so cool. Another tooth breaks, another a filling after the nerve. Oh, this is great. This is exactly the type of content I like doing. Well, maybe I could do a voiceover on your blog, Queen of Karma. But that would be quite funny. And to bring it back, oh, that should be bold, by the way. That there needs to be bolded because it's a link. Let's see if it opens up in a new window. So let me go fix up your blog. Go back here. Come down here. You might still need me to edit them every now and again. So you've published this all by yourself. So there we go. And go bold. There we go. Make sure there's no other links here. No. Good. Let me do a wee review. That's bolded. Oh, you just missed one. Oh, that one's bolded. Oh, you're good. Boy, this is good. TikTok creator. Oh, there we go. No bolds. News. Go down here. Queen of Karma, there you go, the signature. So that's good. So that's going to help it out. Oh, how cool. But are you sure you don't want to do some teeth whitening as well with Christopher's old scam? What a laugh. But that'd be a laugh. That would be a laugh. So now we come here. Yeah, so I might actually do a bit of a voiceover because that photo is pretty good. Bill, filling, root canal, crown, extraction, complaint. Oh, that's brilliant. I really think that's really cool. So I actually want to go to the TikTok person now and have a look at that because I'm curious. But you'll see quite a few articles by Queen of Karma. And if you are looking for Queen of Karma, you can actually click on her link here on her blog. And you'll be able to see her YouTube channel. She's a real trooper and she's a real big supporter of my channel. I was just too tired yesterday to come into your live, and I was rendering a large file and for some reason it was chewing up all the resources of my computer and I couldn't even get the YouTube to play. It was really, really crazy. So here we are. We're looking at, what are we looking at here? I clicked on that. I thought that was going to be how your dentist is scamming you. I thought that was going to go to what I thought was a TikTok account. News. Where's the TikTok account? There it is. TikTok creator. Let's have a look. Is that it? TikTok dentist arrested for allegedly damaging patients' teeth after scam veneer business. Oh my goodness. What a crack up, man. Only in America, I say. A dentist who, let's just read some of it.
A dentist who gained fame on TikTok has been arrested for allegedly scamming her clients by giving them fake veneers, leaving them with damaged teeth and gums.
Oh my goodness. Only in America. Is that her there? Davis was arrested for participating in dentistry without a license. Oh my goodness. Oh, imagine that. Oh, I can't believe that. Oh, that looks a lot like Christopher's thing. See, you hold that up there. You go down here. It's the same thing. It's another thing that Christopher's been doing. Everyone's happy. If you go through this website, though, there is some YouTube videos that Christopher was doing, and you can actually see him telling everyone that you need your teeth whitening. It's quite a laugh. Anyway, that's cool. There are fake dentists all over right now. It's insane. Everything's happening, man. There's just scam after scam. It's just absolutely shocking. Well, Avengers, I'm going to love you and leave yous. I'm going to go spend some time with my lovely partner. It's 6 o'clock here in New Zealand. I haven't got my clock on, have I? So let's put my clock up there. Look at that. I've got a clock up there now. It's 2 minutes past. I should leave that going, actually. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, where have you been? You've got to click that button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that bell. Oh, that bell. And you'll be notified when I go live, which I really do appreciate. And anyone that subscribes to my YouTube channel, I have a friend of the channel called Sadie the Cleaning Lady, and she comes and cleans your screen for you. Isn't that just lovely? Oh, that's awesome. All right, I love being online, love what I do. If you can support me by donation, that would be much appreciated. Buy me a cup of coffee, make my day. I haven't had many donations lately, and I'm starting to have to beg for donations to keep the wolves away from the door. Once again, I've spent another day not working. I should be doing stuff. But when I saw this opportunity of this guy that decided to send me an unsolicited email, I've been working on this one for 3 weeks, or maybe even more. That's what I was going to do. We're going to ring him. Should we ring him one last time just to see whether he wants to talk to me now? I've given him enough opportunities. Let's ring up Robert Rolls and see if he answers the phone. He might be still listening to me. Okay, here we go. Ringing. You should be able to hear it. Here we go. It's very quiet, though. Come on, Robert. Answer your phone. Pick up your phone, mate.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The
Oh.
person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
G'day, Robert. It's Danny DeHeck here. Look, I've just finished doing the video and we're live right now as I've rung you. This is the last phone call you're ever going to receive from me. You do have the right of reply. I've sent you a text. I've done you an email even after I published it, and you've just ghosted me. So this is my goodbye. Now, when you want your content removed, give me a ring. Okay? Well, let's have a talk. Give me a right of reply. You've never responded and you've ghosted me. I hope you don't do that to your customers. That's me signing off, and we'll see you at the top. All right, Robert, give me a ring if you've got any problems. Still love to get your right of reply. You're more than welcome. See you, mate. All right, that's me. I'm out of here. But don't say, Robert, you haven't been warned. Don't say I weren't fair, Robert. I gave you more than enough opportunities to actually contact me and tell me your side of the story. I got one email telling me that you had a right to send me a spam. Well, now when you search for yourself, I have a right to defend my rights about not getting spammed. I don't want your junk mail in my inbox. Don't send it to me. You have no right to do so. And if you are going to do it, at least give me an unsubscribe link. None of this would have happened if you did that.